How about now? We have sound now. I see my meat needle is moving a little bit more now. So I hope that everything is coming through now. So here we go. We'll start over. So, all right. Well, folks, I am Keith Jowers. This is Dads for Life, and we are here with another broadcast for our Wednesday night evening here, coming straight to you from Studio 425. And I can tell you that I see Paul saying, "There you go." I was just listening to my friend Larissa Tranquere on her broadcast, and she's got a couple of guests on there as well, and they were having some issues tonight getting started. So it's just part of live broadcasting. We're going through some changes here at our studio 425. We're working on new cameras and new lighting. And you know what? We just have to keep on keeping on. So I appreciate those telling me when I don't have things going just right. And sound was one of them. So tonight we're going to talk about the title "And God Created Dads." And dads are very important to me. Even though my dad died when I was a little boy, my mom did her very best to do what she can to to continue raising me and doing the very best that she could. And I could tell you that she did very well because I was a handful. Just like most kids are sometimes, they're definitely a handful when you're going to raise them, but you do what you can, and you always let them know that you love them no matter what. I'm always when I'm teaching dads and parents, I in whatever setting I am, I'm teaching them that home should be the safest place for them to feel that they could ever be. And when they disagree with you, when you have to take away something for a short period of time because of a consequence over something they did, maybe you have to take away their cell phones or you have to take away their computers. It's not the end of the world. You will get through that, even though they think that you are the meanest parent sometimes. But you have to do what you have to do uh, for them to abide by the rules in your home. So, but let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about how important the role of a parent truly is? I think when we have a child and you go to the hospital and that child's delivered and everything, you think it's the greatest thing. You think, oh man, life is going to be great now. And then life settles in sometimes and the child's needs are there. And then they start growing up and they go to school and they start making friends that maybe you don't agree with. And things start as a parent, you start to learn your child. You have to start to learn the temperament, their personality, and you have to really kind of keep your ears plugged to what is going on in their life because a lot of times today kids will definitely do things behind their parents back, right? So but when they do, you as an involved parent, you're going to know eventually what's going on in their life and help to correct that if you see it's going down the wrong path. But when you think about the role of a parent, you know just how important that role truly is. Um, but if you think about it for yourself and the mistakes you might have made, I don't want you to think that it's the end of the road because you've made the mistakes. Sometimes you have to apologize and you have to keep on going. And although that there are different roles being a mom and being a dad, the dad's role is so important. And I found that out the hard way simply because there was no dad, there was no mentors helping me, father figures helping me to learn what I should be learning as a young boy. So, but I did my very best and I helped my mom as much as I could. So, all things great and small are created by God. My friends, I even when it comes to being a parent, that role was created by God, and He intends for us to do it the very best that we possibly can. And when we're having weaknesses, well, we need to learn how to correct those weaknesses. God intends that dads protect their families and to teach biblical truths through the Word and by example. We should fulfill our God-given roles as responsibility men, as the responsible men that God created us to be, to do these things. Children need us to guide them in directions that they don't know that they should go. I mean, when they are heading down the wrong path, we as dads have to correct that and we have to do it in a manner that is not very forceful all the time and yelling and screaming all the time, but literally trying to correct them in a manner that is going to be beneficial for the both of you and for your relationship. The reason this role as a dad is so important is because we have over 24 million children living without a father in the home today. Think about that. 24 million children are fatherless in our country today. And it is really sad as to think about that number as to the number of children who are growing up without a dad in their homes. And even if there's divorce in the situation, you can still be involved, Dad. With the technology that you have today that I didn't have back in the 80s when I went through a divorce, I could tell you I did everything I could to stay in touch with my child. But yet today it's so much easier. But there has to be a workable relationship with your spouse to be able to continue to do that in a positive manner. And then I've met a lot of single moms who want their dads, who want their exes to be involved with their children, but yet they choose not to be. And I find that very sad as well. Daily life, if you think about it, is always changing. And you may get up with a certain plan in your life that day. You may get up thinking you're going to go by this schedule. You got the agenda made. Everything is just downright scheduled. And then all of a sudden life happens. So daily life, I look at it as like a design of a beautiful stitched rug or painting. And then you look on the back side of that and it doesn't look very beautiful, does it? It doesn't look like it is the beautiful picture on the front of the cover, on the front of the side of the canvas. And as human beings, we see only the bottom sides of that canvas sometimes. We see our lives entangled and twisted, and our lives can be a little colorful at times when it comes to saying things we don't really mean or don't mean to say, and all the different colors of the stitches in the back. It just is not a pretty picture in the back, is it? So it's kind of like being a parent. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes things happen in life that you don't expect. Sometimes you have to take on the the role of a very serious parent that's going to take care of the situation because you see the dangers ahead. Our life is like the underside of that rug or that canvas, but when God completes us, the design is beautiful. And that's the way I want you as parents to look down the road at your children's lives. Even though it's a little messed up now, or even though they don't seem to be getting it now, even though they don't seem to be getting the grades in school that you know that they're capable of making, just as long as they're making the best grades they can. But if they are having struggles in that, help them. Just be there and help find whatever they need to help do better. Thing with our children is that we have to think about the completed project, just like that under that rug, under that design, as messed up as it looks underneath. Well, we know that as we get older, we mature and we learn things at different stages of our lives. So as our children get older, it'd be like that design that one day their life may turn out a beautiful design simply because of all the stuff that you helped them work through as a parent. The scripture today comes from Ephesians 5 1 and 2, and it says, be imitators of God, therefore, as dearly loved children, and we live a life of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us as a frequent offering and sacrifice to God. So sometimes we have to sacrifice as a parent, as a dad, as a mom, as a grandparent, as a great grandparent. I've I've known grandparents and great grandparents that are raising their grandchildren because of situations. But no matter what role you have, even in those regular roles as grandparent, great grandparent, you can still be involved in helping design that child's life because all the experience that you have, Love is a steady love is a steady wish from the Lord. I'm sorry. Love is a steady wish for the loved person's ultimate goal. So C.S. Lewis said that a steady wish for the loved person's ultimate goal. You have an ultimate goal for your children, and you doing everything you can to help them reach God's purpose for them, as Jeremiah 29:11 says, then your ultimate purpose for them is whatever that goal is for them. You as a parent have to do everything you can to stay involved in them to do that. You see, God created dads to love. God created dads to care. And God created dads to help. The life of Jesus is a model for compassionate living. John Wesley once said that we do all the good that we can by all the means that you can, in all the ways that you can, in all the places you can, in all the times that you can, to all the people you can, and as long as you can. So we do the same for our children because one day they're going to grow up and they're going to realize just how smart you were, mom and dad. They really are. To do those things or teach your children those things is wonderful. When you can teach them how to love and how to care and how to respect, just don't you think that we have enough disrespect in our world today? I mean, you could turn on the news anytime and just see disrespect all over the news. Our children need to know there is a better way. And just because they have a difference of opinion of someone doesn't make their opinion totally right, does it? Can you imagine if the world was all like us? Everybody thought the same thing that we thought. It'd be kind of a boring world, I would think. So, our sons and daughters need us to be involved with them, plain and simple. Our sons need us to teach them how to be gentlemen to our daughters because our daughters, as a dad, my role wasn't to teach my daughter how to be a lady. I couldn't do that. That was her mom's job. My goal as a dad was to teach her how a lady should be treated, and I did that. I remember going out on when she was 16 years old. I took her out on a nice dinner date, and we just talked about life and talked about how she was basically a young lady growing up, beautiful young lady, and she was one day going to find the right boy to marry and so forth. We had that dad-daughter talk. If you're a dad with daughters, you know exactly what I'm talking about at that age. They need you, Dad. They need you to teach them the proper way for them to be treated by a young man. You see, a daughter needs a dad to learn that when he says it will be okay, they will know that it will be okay. A daughter needs his dad or needs her dad who will make sacrifices so she will not have to sacrifice. So a daughter needs her dad to know to teach her that her value as a person is more than the way she looks. The value of her person is inside. A daughter needs her dad who will laugh at her at all the right times. So, meaning that when she's funny, laugh with her. Don't mean laughing at her. I think you know what I mean there. A daughter needs her dad who will always have time to give her hugs and kisses. A daughter needs her dad who does not mind when she steps on his shoes while dancing. I remember dancing a lot with our daughter when she was growing up. And she knew that I listened to some disco stuff when I was in high school and all. So, and she started doing some research for something when in high school they were having a disco day. And she comes up to her dad and she says, Dad, can I look in your closet? And I said, well, why do you want to look in my closet? And she says, because I want to I'm having a disco day at school and I want to see what you wore. And I'd like to borrow some of your clothes. I first laughed and I said, that was at that time many years ago, right? So, first of all, I don't wear those kind of clothes anymore. And second of all, I couldn't even get in those kind of clothes anymore. And I just don't know how cool she would have looked in my leisure suit, but I did sport a good leisure suit back in the days, right? And a daughter needs her dad to teach her how a lady should be treated, as I mentioned. And a daughter needs her dad who will never think she is too old to need him. You see, dads, we were created by God, I believe, for a very important role. I think we were created for this role because who else is going to do it? And it takes a mom and a dad, and even though there might be a divorce situation involved, it still can be workable if you both try. If all parties try hard enough, I believe it's workable because I've helped a lot of dads do it in our work here at Dads for Life Ministries. So, dads, we were created by God. That's a very important role to give guidance and show boundaries to our children, to tell them yes a lot, but to tell them no when we have to teach them how to have respect and how to give respect and how to react when maybe someone else doesn't respect them. And sometimes we lack the training that we need, dads and moms, that we need to train our children and help our children become successful citizens of our country. But you know what? I think if we really dig deep down inside, we will be able to work on our weaknesses to help them become our strengths. And I think we can dig down deep and find the dreams that we once had, maybe, and start dreaming again ourselves as our children get older. But while they're young, is help them dream. Help them when they have a passion for art or music or acting or whatever it is. Help them develop that to see if that's really the role they're supposed to be leading in. Help them in school do their very best. Help them learn God's word at the age appropriately. But always let them know that home is the safest place for them to be. Now, there's plenty of things that a son can learn from a dad too. We'll talk about those on another broadcast. But this is Dads for Life. You can go check us out at dadsforlife.com. We are going to be having our new website uh, hopefully opened up in May. We'll start that. And then also our new show, Dad's Garage, is going to be airing in May as well. So we're excited about some of the changes that are going on. And we're starting a new radio station. And I used to be doing a radio show every Saturday morning. So we're going to start again in May, a radio show on Saturday mornings. It'll be international radio show helping dads all across the world. So we're kind of excited about what God's doing through the changes here at Dads for Life, even coming out of what the year that we had last year. As long as you keep plugging along towards a good path for your life, then things are going to work out. They really are. So until next time, it's Keith Jowers with Dads for Life saying, go out and encourage, enhance, and enrich the life of someone today or tomorrow. But make sure you start with your children, my friends, because they truly do need it the most. May God bless you. Bye bye.